Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hi, Reema. I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you for asking. So I wanted to pick back up and um, from what we were doing last time, and we were looking at finding the answer, and now we're going to go into finding the root. So what is a current issue that's fairly persistent in your life that, if it was resolved, would make a huge difference?
So I feel like one of the things that I struggle with is rest and being in the present moment. So if I could change that and be more present, I could obviously rest a little bit better.
So having a hard time being in the present moment and resting.
Mhm.
Um, so let's look at times in your life when you tried to do this and it didn't go well. So can you tell me a recent time in your life at work or within the community that you had hope that you were going to be able to rest and be present, but it didn't work out.
Um, Trying to think of work. I've done a pretty good job of figuring out how to do that in a work setting because of the structure of our job. But I mean, I would say like sometime this week. So like we talked about before, I'm moving this weekend and there's so much going on. Um, and it's been a little bit harder to stay fully like engaged and present in the meetings that I have. Because if I have a spare thought or moment, I'm thinking, ah, shit, I need to pack that. I need to do this.
Okay. Now, can you give me an example of how and a recent example of how this shows up in your life socially? So a time where you had hope to be able to be present in the moment and it didn't work out.
Mm, Say, maybe like last month, I took a trip with my friends to the beach. And again, like it was just a weekend trip, so I was just thinking about coming back to work on Monday and what time we needed to drive home on Sunday, so I'd feel rested, not really being able to fully enjoy the trip because I was thinking about what I had next to do.
Right. Now, um, can you give me an example, a recent example of how this has shown up in your closest relationships of wanting to be present and hoping to be present, but it not working out?
Again, I would say this week with this move, I would love to be able to fully dedicate, like with my partner, as planning this move and feeling really good about it. But life is life, and I'm sitting here thinking about work and thinking about my clients and thinking about the recent tragedies that have happened in my area. And I haven't been able to be like compartmentalization and focus on something that's exciting for him and I.
Now, what as you as you bring up all of this, what would you say is the worst part of it right now?
I think the worst part of it is I'm just so tired. Like I feel like my brain is constantly thinking about like 8 different things at once, and I want rest. Like I am genuinely tired.
How disturbing is it now on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no disturbance and 10 being the highest disturbance?
I would say like a 3.5.
Right. When you bring up this disturbance and the worst part of it, what is the negative belief you have about yourself now, even though you know better?
Um, I've had some self-reflection on this, but that my value is correlated to how much I can get done in a certain amount of time.
So, what's like the negative self belief you have?
That I do not have as much value if I'm not doing enough.
Okay. Now, when you bring up the worst part of this present issue and the words, I do not have value if I'm not doing enough, what is an earlier time you can remember experiencing something similar?
I immediately think of when I was in grad school, and I was pretty ashamed of the fact that I wasn't going to like a brick and mortar grad school. And so, to compensate for that feeling, I was doing my internship, I was working full time. I just was doing so much. So, that was in 2019. How many years ago was that? 4.
Or
So I was like 22, 23. I think I was 22 when I started grad school. So around that time.
right? And how about an earlier time before that?
Definitely when I went to undergrad in 2014. So I was 17 when I went directly to college. And I knew that I got into UNC Chapel Hill because of what my academic record looked like, but I knew it was going to be really hard on me because it reflected a lot better than I actually kind of maybe even was educated. Um, and I really struggled with classes, and it was the first time in my life that I was not getting A's. And I mean, I was almost failing classes, and it made me, yeah, really have that feeling.
And how about an earlier time before that?
Definitely high school. Um, I didn't have an option. Grades were not really an option. So you either do everything or you do nothing. It was just, yeah. So definitely seriously started 2010 to freshman year of high school. That was a big feeling, and that just never really stops. It's not an option.
Not an option. Okay. Um, and that was like the beginning of 2010. Is that what you're saying? So when you were a freshman in high school,
Yeah, so I was probably like 14.
14.
It's crazy that you're a freshman in high school at 14. I don't know, it's just like a wild thought, but yeah, I think I was 14.
So, with this memory, was it like you were like a specific time that you were like told or that you had that thought of grades are not an option?
It's a really hard, I mean, I know we've gone through this before. That's a really hard question with that because this has just been a theme my whole life. I mean, I remember specific memories when I was younger. But I don't really in high school. It was just trying to think if there was one at any point. It was so drilled into my head when I was little that like there's just really no fucking option. Um,
And I am asking because we are trying to target like specific moments and specific memories. So even if that feeling was or that experience was happening forever, I want you to just think about like a specific moment in time.
I think this was 10th. I don't remember exactly, but I think I got a B plus in a class or something. And I remember the award ceremony and being like, ugh, disgusted that I had to be there because I wasn't getting the award that I even give a shit about. So it's like I don't even want to be here because I'm ashamed of being here. Um, it was either an A minus or a B plus. It was something where it impacted the specific. I think it was an A minus. I think it impacted the specific award that I got, and I remember sitting in that award ceremony and being like, "This, I don't want to fucking be here."
Now, was that in high school? That was like a specific moment
That
in high
was 10th.
school?
Yeah, that was 10th grade. So I was like
Okay.
15, 14, 15.
Okay. All right. And how about an earlier time before that?
I remember transferring to a private school in 3rd grade, and I really, really struggled. And it was again another one of those things where I had never received anything below an A. And I think I got like a C that year because it was just so hard. It was such a jump in education. It was like I jumped basically 2 years. And I remember being really ashamed at that moment at that award ceremony that it was what it was.
So in third grade, transferring to private school and receiving a C.
Yeah. I don't know how old you are in 3rd grade.
I might think like eight.
Yeah, I'd say like 8, maybe.
Eight.
Yeah.
And how about an earlier time before that?
Um, I don't know if this would count, but I remember in kindergarten, I was part of like the gifted kids program. And I remembered that not feeling like an option and like being proud of it in the moment. There was only like 3 of us. So it wasn't that I didn't feel value for not doing enough, but it was like the first time I remember feeling value for doing more than everyone else. And so that really set the precedence for the rest of the education.
So that was a moment that you experienced that value.
Yeah.
Kindergarten.
6, 5.
Yeah. And how about an earlier time before that?
I think that's the earliest memory was kindergarten.
Was kindergarten. Okay. Now we're gonna move on. Good work. That was some tough stuff. Now I'm gonna go back to the present triggers that you identified, and we're gonna look towards the future for future desired states.
Okay.
So, like I said, now I would like us to look at each present trigger, and I want you to think think about something that you can imagine happening and that you want to happen. Not necessarily what you wish would have happened, but how what you want it to be in the future when something similar happens again.
Okay.
So for the first present trigger, so as you think of the present trigger at work, which was earlier this week, and in meetings, but thinking about all of the other things you have to do. How do you want to be able to react, feel, or behave when that or something similar to that happens in the future?
I would like to be able to organize things in my brain a little bit better. And so being able to be more present in that moment and not be immediately thinking about, oh shit, that's something I have to do. I'd like to be able to be a little bit more present.
You want to be more present and not be thinking about what you need to do in the future or think about all the other thoughts. Okay.
It is mainly thinking about things I need to do later. I'm even doing it right now, so I'm not doing a great job, but yeah.
Now, um, as you think about the second present trigger socially, um, when you were at the beach, how would you like to be able to react, feel, or behave in the future?
I think the same thing, but in the aspect too of relaxing, I would like to be able to like relax and rest and not be just be present in the moment, not be thinking about, oh, well, this is coming next.
So relax in that moment, enjoy your time.
Yeah, and just be in that present moment and not be thinking about like, okay, well, it's Saturday, I have to go back to work Monday. Be like, be present in the day that we're in.
And the third one, um, as you think about the third present trigger with your closest relationship, um, and that was earlier, also earlier this week, um, and not being able to be excited for the move, um, how would you be able to react, feel, or behave in the future when something like this or similar happens?
I think the same. It's really hard working from home and being from home all the time, which hopefully will be changing in the future, but it doesn't allow me to compartmentalize things. And so I'll be thinking about work when I'm trying to sit there and be present with him, talking about our move. And so, in the future, I would just like to be able to separate those things a little bit more and be present where I'm at.
Okay. Some good work. Um, I'd like to stop right here actually. Um, we are getting near the end of our session, and I want to make sure that you are in a safe state of mind and whatnot after we are finished with our session. So I was wondering if you would like to practice a resource or some mindfulness.
Sure.
All right, wonderful. All right, so um, I invite you to start by just getting into a comfortable position. whether it's you sitting as you are right now, um, crossing your legs, uncrossing, whatever feels comfortable to you. Allow your eyes to close or keep them open, whatever feels comfortable. Begin by taking several long, slow, deep breaths. Inhaling fully through your nose and exhaling slowly, fully through your mouth. Bring your attention to noticing each in breath as it enters your nostrils, travels down to your lungs, and causes your belly to expand. Notice each out breath as your belly contracts and air moves up through the lungs, back up through your mouth. Invite your full attention to flow with your breath as you breathe. Begin to let go of the noises around you. Don't try to control your breath in any way. If your mind wanders to thoughts, maybe future planning or worrying, simply observe the types of thoughts that hook or distract you and notice your mind wandering. Watch the thought as it enters your awareness as neutrally as possible, and practice letting go of the thought as if it were a leaf floating down a stream. Practice coming back to the breath with your full attention. Bring your awareness to the gentle rise of your stomach on the in breath and the relaxing, letting go on the out breath. Allow yourself to be completely with your breath as it flows in and out. You might become distracted by pain or discomfort in the body, or twitching or itching sensations that draw your attention away from the breath. You may also notice feelings arising, perhaps sadness, happiness, frustration, contentment. Simply notice where your mind goes without judging it, pushing it away, clinging to it, or wishing it were different. And just refocus your mind and guide your attention back to your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Follow the air all the way in and all the way out. If your mind wanders away from your breath, just notice this without judging it. Be it a thought, emotion, or sensation that hooks your attention, and gently guide your awareness back to your breathing. As this practice comes to an end, slowly allow your attention to expand and notice your entire body, the overall sensation of your whole body. Does it feel any different to at the start of the practice?
Do you want me to answer?
Okay, you can, but you don't have to. Um, and then beyond your body to the room you are in, the temperature of the room, any sounds you hear. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes and come back. How was that for you?
Made me sleepy.
Did you sleepy? Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, um, thank you so much for all your hard work today. And I will see you next time.
Thank you, Reema.
Thank you.